What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Wiz Khalifa is someone who has maintained his lane for so many years. There's never really a question of what type of music Wiz Khalifa is going to give you. It's more so, will the music that Wiz gives you this time match up with some of the previous projects in terms of quality? You know, with Wiz, you're getting a lot of these fly tunes that talk about weed and women and, you know, chill living, you know, stunting a little bit, etc. There's all these different topics that Wiz explores within his creative lane, and he's always done so in a way that keeps people coming back for more. So he just released a new mixtape titled Laugh Now, Fly Later. And I gotta say, as someone who hasn't paid attention to what Wiz Khalifa has been doing for the past couple years, this really sounds like some inspired Wiz Khalifa music. Like, don't get me wrong, I've listened to the stuff that he's put out, but nothing really made me want to go back. But with Laugh Now, Fly Later, I felt like some of these songs are definitely going to be ones that I revisit and continue to play. With that said, let's get into my favorite songs, starting off with a record titled Figure It Out. For his credit, Wiz Khalifa is really good at picking beats that fit with what he raps about. On Figure It Out, he drops a real inspiring and positive message. Like, he drops a lot of gems throughout. And I'll talk about some of those gems in a moment, but he has Cookin' Soul produce this record, and it allows him to really get his singing on the hook. Like, Wiz's singing is legendary. I'm not saying that the guy has the best pipes in the world, but he makes it work for him. And so you're listening to this record, and it's getting stuck in your head, and you're liking it, you're enjoying it, and Wiz just has this, he has a good ear for beats most of the time. I really felt like Figure It Out was a relaxing record that all around worked. And so some of the gems that he dropped, he says, it's harder to maintain than to get. Of course, that makes a lot of sense. Knowing your worth is half the battle. It is. And it's something that you and I have probably heard 1,000 times throughout the years. But it always helps to have a reminder to keep hearing that kind of stuff. He says, being fake ain't rare, it's universal. Very, very true. And the list goes on. Those were just a couple of the quotables that I pulled out from this song. But overall, Figure It Out is just a stellar Wiz Khalifa record. My other favorite song is called Global Access. Opposite of Figure It Out, this record is real energetic. This is Wiz really flowing and going off. Now, you know, also opposite of Figure It Out, there aren't as many quotables. But I think that the delivery, the flow, and the production, they all make up for that. I don't need Wiz to drop endless quotables all the time if he, you know, excels in other fields. And so that's what he does on this song. I like the hook. It's got a little bit of that singing. It's the whoa, 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 here we go, go, go. Like, that is what he's doing on this hook. And the one quotable that he did have that really stood out to me, and this is probably the reason why I first picked it for my favorites list. He says, my kush beat a bomb, it sing like Solange. Not like a clever, crazy line or anything like that, but I think it's also in the way that he delivered it. It's right at the end of the first verse, and it just ended it on a high note. Now I have two honorable mentions to quickly highlight. The first is Royal Highness featuring KC Veggies. KC Veggies is the only guest feature on the mixtape, and it's kind of like an interesting choice. Like, why is Casey the only one on here and nobody else? But lo and behold, this collaboration sounds good. Casey does a lot of the hook, and it sounds great to me. I'm just enjoying this song. I think the reason why, like, a lot of my favorites are my favorites or honorable mentions is because Wiz or Casey, like, they really have the ability to create a record that is melodic and gets stuck in your head, and then you just go back and appreciate that song. I feel like Laugh Now, Fly Later does that better than any Wiz Khalifa project in maybe the last, I would say, year or two. Safe to say a year or two. My other favorite record is called No Dirt. I just like the whole vibe of this. I like the ODB homage in the record. Now let me talk about my least favorite songs. The first being Letterman. Now this is one of those records that is going to be like the debatable bad song on the mixtape. Like, is it really a bad song? I feel like a lot of people might disagree with my analysis of it, but I feel like this record, it just annoys me a little bit because in the hook, Wiz is doing this thing where he kind of like trails the words. He really keeps like that last sound. He's like, let him in. Like, he holds that end sound. And he does that for several other different words throughout the song. Now, I like that it feels almost like a callback to like the 28 Grams mixtape. It has that vibe to it. That's cool. But I do get annoyed listening to it a little bit. It's just, I think it's a bit of an overkill. If he were to do the, holding the last sound on just a couple words or just a little bit of the song, it probably wouldn't bother me as much, but it feels like it's overpowering the record at times. My other least favorite record is called Weed Farm. Chalk this up to being a non-smoker, but I really wasn't feeling Weed Farm. Like, just because I don't smoke doesn't mean that I can't get into music about weed. I like, Styles P, I Get High, or like Afro Man records, or Smoke DZA makes a lot of smoking songs. Even Wiz Khalifa has like In the Cut is one of my favorite Wiz Khalifa songs. So I can enjoy a weed smoking song, but my thing with Weed Farm is that when you have so many of these songs in your discography, it's natural that at some point you're going to make one that sounds uninspired compared to the rest. And that is what Weed Farm's problem is. Listening to Laugh Now, Fly Later was a great, refreshing experience. I think Wiz Khalifa sounds a bit inspired when he's making this music. It's just a mixtape, a retail mixtape, but still classified as a mixtape. Something of an appetizer for his upcoming album coming out sometime in 2018. I think if the reception is the same, feelings on the internet to Wiz Khalifa's fan base that I'm feeling, then this will help Wiz understand what his fans want out of another album. I think I highlighted throughout the review the different things that I want to see from Wiz Khalifa that work well versus the stuff that he can leave on the cutting room floor. So those are my thoughts on Wiz Khalifa's new mixtape, Laugh Now, Fly Later. After you listen to this mixtape, let me know what you're thinking about it in the comment section below. And then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.